Rob, first of all, just tell us how you used the break.
Yeah, look when the schedule and the fixtures came out at the very beginning of the year, we, we pretty much have a schedule in throughout the year, so everyone knows where they're going to be at. And we always said we're going to have a couple of days off after the whole game. But then the back end of the week we're in and we train pretty hard that back end of the week. So we give them a few days off at the beginning of last week after the game. Spend a bit of time with the families. School holidays, you can spend some time with the kids, but the back end of the week we're back in working hard.
So I'll be quite glad to get away from the kids, I would have thought as well. The victory obviously over Hull was significant, wasn't it? Could you have done without the break?
Yeah, it's a tricky one really. Obviously, all year we've been praying for breaks, wanting a little bit of time to get people back on board, back off the physio bed and back in the squad. But then all of a sudden we got thought we had a decent performance. We'd like to carry a little bit of momentum, but it's given us an opportunity to, like I said before, they had a few days off to the lads, but they were back in training hard at the end of last week. So we've used this break to good use.
We won't see the 21-man squad till tomorrow, which is Thursday. How different could the team look this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. From the whole game, we've had obviously a great victory, but yeah, there were a little bit of casualties from that game. It looks like, Tuol is going to be out for the season, so it looks like it's going to be he tore his quad. So and it's not a small one. It's a 16 week of the specialist said, which is horrendous for Tui, horrendous for us because he's been one of his game breakers. Really, he's been one that's opened up defences, and actually over the last few weeks have been along with Frawley have been building up a decent combination. So it's very disappointing to lose Tui, and we won't just lose him for the remainder of the year. We'll lose him for a piece of pre-season as well. So that's unfortunate. And yeah, and then also Swifty in the middle of the game did his adductor. So it's sort of good and bad news really. We're a little bit concerned that he was going to be out for the full season, but it looks like after he's gone and spoke to the specialist that he could get the last couple of games of the season in if all goes to plan. So disappointing on one respect for Swifty, but yeah, we thought it might be worse at the time.
What about on the plus side? Have you got potentially to come back?
Yeah, Kieran Rush, we're obviously waiting in the wings. He didn't play, so Rush has potentially got an opportunity to play this week, and Ollie Wilson, who's obviously had a bit of an issue with his pubis, which takes a little bit. You never know when they're going to heal or recover from. So, but we're fingers crossed. He trained this week, and yeah, we're not sure just yet whether he's going to play or not. But fingers crossed that he comes through training this week, and yeah, he's good to go.
Do you look at Kieran Rush and insofar as approaching this as an opportunity for him to have an extended run in the absence of Tui, or is there other people that you'd like to see in that role ahead of next year?
Oh look, we've got some opportunities potentially for some academy lads really as well that have been knocking on the door, and there's a couple of them that'd like to progress into the first team next year, who are showing great promise. We've also got to be smart with that and work out whether they're ready. Don't want to throw them into the sort of lion's den before they're ready. So it's weighing that up. Rush is a number 14 really. I sat down at the beginning of the year and said, look, I think he's a number 14, somebody that can cover multiple positions for us. But it's an opportunity for him, to actually seal a little bit of a position, with Tui being out. So it's up to him whether he grabs it with both hands. Hopefully he does.
I mean, it typifies your season, really, that you went from that sort of season, career worst defeat against Wakefield, didn't it? You were really down from that, and then, in the blink of an eye, you've won at Hull. Is the big, real sort of achievement over pre-season to try and even out that inconsistency?
Oh, look, definitely. Consistency is the key for us this year. We've had, even when we've lost, we've had really good first halves and then poor seconds. We've had some decent performances this year, then some not so good, and that generally comes when you've got a very unsettled team, and in some cases young team, and you're not you've not got much consistency on the field regarding personnel and positions, inevitably it leads to inconsistencies in performance as well. So it's definitely something we need to, we need to eradicate next year and make sure that we are putting better performances in, week out, no matter who we put out there.
Talking of next season, Willie Peters dropped a big hint that Niall might be staying on at the Giants for next year. Is there anything you can say in that direction?
Yeah, fingers crossed from that. He's had a bit of a torrid time as Niall, if I'm honest. But I've said all along what a fantastic player we want. We want competition for places. We want strength in depth. We want to be able to actually, if one player is out, we want to be able to throw another one in. And so the better players that we have within our squad, the bigger and better a squad is, the better it is for Giants.
What's your gauge on Catalan then ahead of Saturday?
Very similar regarding what you said about consistency. Look, they've got a star-studded team. I think they've had a week off. I'm assuming. I think there's a few lads who are carrying niggles and knocks. I'm assuming they're all going to be back. I think the vast majority of them will be back after that week off, fresh and ready to go against us. And when you go through the actual list of players that they have on their roster, it's a very, very good squad. They haven't obviously they've had really good games and they've had inconsistent ones, but look, they're a very big side. They're aggressive. They play off a little bit of ad lib. They play very offloads. So they're a difficult team to sometimes preview against because you don't know what they're going to do from one week to the next. That can pose problems for them and it can pose problems for the opposition. So we've got to really concentrate on our own game this week and make sure we get our game right.
You've got 7 games left. You've got 4 at home. It's 10.5 months, sorry to keep reminding you, since Huddersfield Giants last won at home. Is it unthinkable to go a full season without winning at home?
Well, I've said loads of times in the past, this isn't a new issue. This is something that's been sort of going on for a few years with the Giants. These are home form, and look, it's something that we want to rectify as quickly as we can these remaining games, because normally I want to be licking the lips at having so many home games to finish, and so should we. We should be wanting to give us fans something to cheer about and us to finish on a high note. But yeah, his home form hasn't been great for a very long time now.
Just lastly for me, since we last spoke to you, we had the announcement of the 14-team comp for next year. You were playing the last time we had a 14-team competition in 2014. Have you got any sort of personal broad views on the direction that the game's going next year?
Oh, look, I'm not really got an issue with the 14 teams. I think it could be. I think as rugby league always is, a little bit last minute in everything, in all the decisions we make. We're constantly asking questions. Regarding the academy, regarding reserves, regarding the first team, and I'd like things to be put in place a little bit earlier, and actually people actually know what's going on months in advance. But look, there's been some teams that are knocking on the door in the Championship that have been wanting an opportunity to play for quite a while, and some of them can step up, and we can. For me, it's not just about whether they can step up; it's about getting rid of the loop fixtures. For me, the competition does not make sense. It's just not a fair competition in the fact that you play some teams 3 times, some teams twice. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And when people's livelihoods are on the line, I think it needs to be a fair and even comp. So bringing 14 team gets rid of the loop fixtures. For me, that's only a good thing. And it might take a little while to be some adjustments to the 14 team, but I think in the long run, I think it'll be better.